Come on, let's get up. Come on. Can we please get up? I just I just want to get more coffee. How about come on. Okay, we're back. And by we I mean me and my cats. There's nobody else. That would be one of them. My last video I looked like I had 6 martinis and ran 10 miles on my way to a 12-step meeting. This time I look, at least I have a haircut. I just want to first off say how grateful I am to everyone who checked out the last video, and for everyone who subscribed and liked the last video. I really appreciate it. I didn't die inside. That's a step in the right direction. Okay, so this week we're talking about The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Okay, so I was very excited to read this book. There are a lot of people in the booktube community who have read this and recommended it, and as I love science fiction novels, The Expanse being one of my favorite series in the sort of modern era of sci-fi novels, I was super excited to jump into this. How do I feel about this book? Okay, so the best way to describe this book is you and your friends have gone to the amusement park for the day. You bought tickets. You see the huge roller coaster. You can't wait to ride that roller coaster. You know there's a roller coaster there. You can see it. You can hear everybody. They're having a good time on the roller coaster. And then you go to give your ticket to get in. And then there's this guy at the line, and he's like, "Hey, did I ever tell you the story about how I traveled in outer space?" And you're like, "No, that's weird, dude. Can we talk about it after I ride the roller coaster?" And he's like, "Nah, man." And then so like you you really want to ride the roller coaster. This guy starts telling you stories, and you're like, "All right, I didn't really want to get stuck talking to this guy, but he's actually kind of interesting." And wow, and then the conversation goes on, and this guy's like, the guy is super interesting. The guy has a lot of crazy stories to tell you. You don't know if he's crazy. You don't know if he just got let out of the institution, but his stories are really entertaining. Meanwhile, all of your friends have moved on. They've all gone on. Not to ride the roller coaster. They've just gone on to something else because the dude ain't letting anybody in. That's how I felt about this book. There's the roller coaster. I see the roller coaster. I know it's there. And this guy won't stop talking to me about these crazy stories that he's had. And yet, the stories were good. Okay, so what is this book about? The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is about a crew on a tunneling ship. A tunneling ship is a team that goes out and digs, or punches, I should say, wormholes from one part of a galaxy to another to create basically superhighways for ships to get around easier. I guess there's no such thing as warp speed in the future. So problem number one is I never knew exactly who to focus on in this book. It starts off as if there's 2 protagonists, the captain and Rosemary, who's the new person aboard this ship, who's running from a past. I don't want to give it away. She's hiding from something, and at first it starts to go back and forth between the two, and you think, okay, great. But then there's another character that comes into play that's very prominent in the very beginning of this book, and then that character disappears almost entirely for the rest of the story. He pops up now and again until the end, and there's a great twist with that character. But it's too little too late. So ultimately, my biggest problem is there's no plot to this story between like 10% of the way into the book and 75% of the way into the book. It's if this book felt like a collection of adventures aboard this tunneling ship, and none of the adventures were connected to each other. And the adventures that they have along the way in these separate chapters are wonderful. They're wonderfully described. They're beautiful stories. They're funny, but they're not connected. Nothing's connected, and then it's almost like the author has forgotten about the overarching plot. I mean, you know they're on their way to this thing, but the plot never kicks in until 75-80% of the way into the book, and then by then, for me, it was just too late. Okay, so would I recommend the book? If I have to base it on a scale of 5 stars, I'm gonna give it 3. I really, really love the characters. I really love the world that she built. I, but because there's very little plot, and then because for me the plot wasn't very satisfying at the end, it's hard for me to recommend the book, to be quite honest. I did not love it. Dance break. There's no music. No music. You can dance without music. That's possible. Okay, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Next week I'm going to do a review of Signal to Noise. This was recommended by Rincey Reads, and I'm very excited to read this. It's from a Mexican author, Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I am horrified to admit that I don't think I've read a novel from a Mexican author other than Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm only a couple pages into it, but I'll have a review of this next week. Thanks very much. Please subscribe, please share, and please leave comments down below. Ask me anything you want. I'll answer anything. I think mostly anything. Most.